In the last step, we figured out how to detect when the player turtle hits a car and to stop the while loop, which stops the game at that point. Now we're going to figure out how we can detect when the turtle reaches the other side of the screen, so that once our turtle makes a successful crossing, then we can return the turtle to the starting position and speed up all the cars. So I'm going to do that right here, and I'm going to detect a successful crossing. So what is a successful crossing? Well, the player turtle has to reach the finish line, right? Which we've defined the y value for as 280 here in the constant. Now, you could do this in a number of ways. You could define a method here, or simply just get hold of the player's position and then figure out if it's over 280 inside our main.py. Now, I'm going to create a method here instead. And I'm going to call the method isAtFinishLine. This method is going to return true if the turtle is at the finish line and false while it's not. So how do we detect this? Well, we can get our self.y coordinate, and we can see if that is greater than 280, which is our finish line y value, well, that means we've pretty much gone over the finish line, right? So if this is the case, then we're going to return true. But while that's not the case, any other time when we check this, we're going to return false. So now coming back to our main.py, we can call our player.isAtFinishLine, and we can say if this is true, well, in that case, we're going to get the player to go back to the starting position. So inside our player class, let's create yet another method, which I'm going to call goToStart. And this just involves getting our player to go to the starting position, which we've defined here in a constant. So notice how we've got a little bit of repetition here. So we can actually delete this line and simply call self.goToStart. Back in our main.py, once the player is at the finish line, we're going to get the player to go to the start. And if we go ahead and run our code as it is right now, you can see that once the turtle makes it across the road, it goes back to the starting position. Now, the very last thing we need to do is to increase the speed of the cars when the player reaches the other side, because effectively they've just gone to the next level. What we can do is when the player reaches the finish line, we can get the car manager to increase the speed of the cars. Let's create a method inside our car manager class, which we'll call levelUp. And in this method, we're going to get the car's speed to increase by 10 every time. So if we have an attribute called car speed, and we initially set it as the starting move distance, and then we use this car speed to determine how far it should move backwards each time, well then when we level up, we can say self.carSpeed now increases by the increment that we've defined here, which is the move increment. So now when our player reaches the other side at the finish line, then in addition to getting the player to go to the start, we're going to get the car manager to level up our cars as well. So now when my turtle reaches the other side of the screen, not only does the turtle go back to the original position, but the cars also increase in speed.